Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here again, taking those sources you shared and really unlocking the crucial knowledge inside.
That's right.
Today, we're focusing on something I think almost every modern business person gets, at least on some level: the hunt for the perfect digital identity, that perfect domain name.
That's like digital real estate, isn't it?
Yeah,
Location, 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 but online.
exactly. And we're diving deep into a specific case, the 4-year saga of a company called deBridge.
Ah, yes. deBridge. They made a splash back in 2021.
They did. Secured a huge $5.5 million in seed funding. Big moment for them. But they immediately saw this glaring vulnerability.
They didn't own the name.
They didn't own deBridge.com, their own name. That must have been, well, slightly terrifying.
Oh, absolutely. And what this story really highlights, I think, is this surprising, almost jarring gap
A gap between what?
between the super fast-paced world of crypto funding, VCs, millions flying around,
Mm.
and the incredibly manual, sometimes really old school infrastructure that actually governs internet domains.
Huh. Old school, you say?
Definitely. So this isn't just like a quick purchase story. It's a 4-year chronicle. It's about navigating procedures, financial persistence, and dealing with these kind of archaic systems just to secure a piece of digital turf.
Okay, so let's unpack that timeline then, because
Right.
it didn't start easy. The first phase was just rejection.
Pure rejection, yeah?
Yeah.
deBridge had the cash. They certainly had the motivation after that funding round, but the domain already taken.
So they tried to buy it.
They did. Went through domain agents, which is a common route, and they made, serious offers, escalating offers.
What are we talking?
Started at $10,000, then they upped it to $25,000, and finally they put $50,000 on the table.
50 grand. Okay.
And every single offer declined. Just nope.
Wow. Who even owned it?
Well, that's part of the mystery. It was described only as someone in the U.S. This person had registered the domain way back in 2008.
2008. So they've been sitting on it for a long
A
time.
very long time.
Yeah.
And the deBridge founders said they got zero response to any direct outreach. Just silence.
It makes you wonder, though. They just raised $5.5 million. Was $50,000 really the kind of knockout offer they maybe thought it was or expected it to be?
That's a really sharp point. Maybe for this owner, holding it since 2008, it wasn't just about a quick flip. Maybe they saw it as a long-term asset, something more valuable than $50,000.
Or maybe they just didn't want to sell, period. Like, I
Yeah.
own this, it's mine, and I don't care about your startup.
Exactly. They might have seen it as, well, priceless to them, or at least worth holding on to. So deBridge, they kind of hit a wall. They had to pivot.
What did it just give up on the name?
Not entirely.
Yeah.
They settled for a .finance domain, deBridge.finance, a temporary fix. But the founder, and this shows some serious tenacity,
Yeah.
they set up a Google Calendar reminder, a simple reminder, but crucial, to check the expiration date of deBridge.com every single year.
Wow. Okay, that's playing the long game.
Totally. And that reminder, for 4 years, it was this constant test of patience, right?
I bet. Every year. Ping. Time to check. And every year.
Yeah.
Disappointment.
Exactly. Ping. Check the WHOIS data.
Yeah.
And renewed for 4 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
An annual ritual of digital disappointment, as you put it.
Ouch. But then, the 4th year...
4th year, the persistence finally paid off. The reminder pops up. They check. And this time, the domain wasn't renewed.
The moment they were waiting for. Opportunity knocks.
It does. But here's where it gets complicated again. Because if you're listening and thinking, great, it expired, just grab it. Well,
That's not simple.
not even close.
Yeah.
Domain expiration is this highly regulated, multi-stage process. It's governed by ICANN rules, by the registrars. It's not a free-for-all.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit for anyone who hasn't gone through this particular joy. What are the key stages? You mentioned grace period, redemption.
Right. Think of it like maybe missing a credit card payment.
Yeah.
First, there's the grace period. This is usually about 30 days, sometimes a bit more, sometimes less, depending on the TLD and registrar.
And during grace.
The original owner can just renew it. Usually the normal price, maybe a small late fee. It's their chance to say, oops, forgot, and get it back easily.
Okay, made sense. But what if they miss that window?
Then it typically enters the redemption period, or the redemption grace period, RGP. This lasts maybe 30 days as well. Now, the owner can still get it back, but it's expensive.
Like getting your car out of impound.
Exactly like that. There's a hefty redemption fee on top of the renewal fee. It's a penalty box, basically. But crucially, the original owner still has priority.
Got it. So deBridge still couldn't touch it.
Not yet. Only after both those windows, grace and redemption, close, and the original owner hasn't acted, Does the domain enter a pending delete phase for a few days, and then it actually drops?
And that's when it becomes available.
That's when it potentially becomes available for others to register, or often it goes to auction if there's backorder interest, which is what happened here. It landed on an auction site called NameJet.
NameJet. And deBridge described this site as old school.
Apparently, yes. Which is kind of ironic, right? A cutting-edge crypto company trying to buy its domain on a platform that felt dated.
And just getting into the auction wasn't simple, was it? They hit some bureaucratic
Oh,
hurdles.
yeah. Straight into them. There wasn't just, click here, enter credit card. They had to manually verify the account.
Manually.
Yep. And that involved KYC, know your customer.
Okay, KYC is standard stuff, especially for higher value things. Anti-money laundering, anti-fraud.
Totally standard. But the method here was the kicker. The verification, according to the sources, was done by phone.
Get out. By phone.
By phone. This tech company, funded with millions, had to literally call someone, like a hotline, to get manually approved to bid on their own domain name.
That is wild. It feels like something from, 2002.
It's a real clash of eras, isn't it? A totally analog choke point controlling access to a critical digital asset.
And the hurdles didn't even stop there, right? There was a financial obstacle, too.
Yes. The sources highlighted this on the auction site, NameJet, apparently had a credit card limit of just $15,000.
Yeah. $15,000. But they'd already offered $50,000 privately. They knew it could go high.
Exactly. So that $15 K limit is, well, it's fascinating. On one hand, it feels like a seriously outdated system bottleneck.
Definitely.
But maybe it's also some kind of rudimentary security measure to stop massive bot bidding or something. Who knows? But for deBridge,
it was a problem.
the big one, they knew they'd likely bid way over $15 K, probably over the $50 they'd offered before. So they had to figure out alternative funding methods before the auction even started, just to prove they could actually pay if they won.
So they had to prearrange payment beyond what the system could handle electronically.
Seems like it. They had to show they were good for the money, even if the website couldn't process it easily.
Okay, that complexity, that sort of friction, it really sets the stage for the auction itself. They get approved, they figure out the funding, and then the bidding starts.
And it wasn't just them. There were over 40 bidders involved. 40.
Wow. 40 bidders all circling this one domain. That's not a quiet negotiation.
No, this was described as a mini-war, a frenzied fight for that digital turf. Imagine the pressure.
Yeah, the founder watching 40 other entities trying to snatch the name they'd patiently tracked for 4 years.
Exactly. And adding to that pressure was the auction structure itself, the clock mechanism.
Ah, the dreaded auction clock. How did it work on NameJet?
Every time a new bid was placed, it extended the auction timer by 5 minutes.
Oh, that's brutal. That's designed purely to maximize the price and keep everyone glued to their screens.
Precisely. No sniping at the last second. It forces bidders to keep revealing their maximum price. And it meant this auction just stretched on and on, late into the night.
A digital torture device. I can just picture it.
It really became an endurance match. deBridge described it as a prolonged financial duel. They went through dozens and dozens of rounds. Hours passed.
And every time they bid.
Someone else instantly countered. Pop. New bid. Pop. Counter bid. Just relentless. The competition was fierce, pushing the price way, way past that $50,000 they'd originally offered in private.
And that's so interesting psychologically, isn't it? That $50 offer, flatly rejected in private, suddenly becomes almost like the starting point for this public bidding war.
The market dynamics completely take over. What one person privately values it at becomes irrelevant when 40 bidders are fighting. It's about what the market will bear right then and there.
So hours later, dozens of rounds, where did it finally end?
After all that back and forth, finally, their bid held. The winning bid was $50,999.
$50,999. Wow. So they won. They finally got deBridge.com.
They won the auction. The relief must have been just immense. Imagine 4 years of waiting, navigating the grace period, the redemption period, the KYC by phone, figuring out the funding limit.
All that hassle.
And then winning this intense bidding war by less than $1,000 over their original offer. The domain was theirs.
Except the saga wasn't quite over yet, was it? There's one last sting in the tail.
Ah, yes. The Creeless twist, maybe.
Yeah.
After winning the war, after all that,
Yeah.
the payment failed.
Failed.
Remember that old school site? The sources say the payment failed due to NameJet's outdated system. Despite winning, Despite having the funds arranged, they couldn't actually complete the purchase electronically through the site itself.
You cannot be serious. After all that.
Dead serious. And the stakes suddenly became terrifyingly high again.
What happened?
They got an email. A stark email stating that if the payment wasn't successfully completed within 24 hours, the domain would be forfeited.
Forfeited?
Ah.
After winning the auction. The whole 4-year effort down the drain.
Potentially, yes. That's the ultimate nightmare when you're dealing with legacy infrastructure, right? You can win the digital fight, but the old analog plumbing can still trip you up at the finish line.
Unbelievable. So what did they do? Panic?
Probably a bit of panic, yeah. But they scrambled. Jumped on urgent support calls, coordinated a wire transfer.
Yeah.
The most manual, old-school payment method possible.
Had to bypass the website entirely.
Completely. It was the absolute final hurdle, this emergency wire transfer. But they got it done. They pushed the payment through, confirmed it, and finally secured deBridge.com. The 4-year ordeal was over.
Wow. What a story. So, okay, let's step back. If you're a founder, brand manager, maybe someone listening who's eyeing a domain, what's the big takeaway here? The final price was $50,999. That's clearly not the whole story.
Not even close. That $50,999, it's just the number on the final invoice. The true cost. That's measured in, 4 years of diligent calendar reminders and WHOIS checks.
Right, the time cost.
The hours spent researching domain expiration stages, grace, redemption, pending delete, the sheer complexity and, frankly, absurdity of doing KYC verification over the phone.
The friction of bypassing that $15 K card limit.
Exactly, figuring out funding workarounds,
Yeah.
and then the stress of the auction itself, fighting off 40 bidders late into the night, and capping it all off with that 24-hour payment crisis requiring an emergency wire transfer.
So the procedural burden, the time, the stress, that's the hidden cost.
That entire operational and emotional burden is the true cost of acquiring a premium digital identity in a competitive space. It's far more than just the final bid.
And it really forces you to look at the structural inefficiencies baked into parts of the internet we just take for granted.
Absolutely. The fact that high-value digital assets, things potentially worth millions in brand value, are sometimes exchanged through systems that need manual phone calls and have tiny card limits. It's kind of astounding in 2024 or whenever this happened.
It really is.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Namejet, in this story, kind of represents this critical, maybe slightly creaky relic of the early web's infrastructure.
Still underpinning massive transactions.
Right. It's the hidden, complex, sometimes incredibly frustrating plumbing that still governs multi-million-dollar digital asset deals today. And that's a key takeaway for anyone listening. Don't just budget dollars for the domain price. Budget time, energy, and potentially some hair-pulling for navigating the process.
That makes a lot of sense. And it leads us right to our final provocative thought for you, our listener, to maybe chew on. Think about this. The $50,000 private offer, rejected outright, but $50,999 in a public auction, accepted. What is that tiny $99 difference in those different contexts? Tell us about the psychology of asset liquidity versus just holding on to something long-term.
That's a fascinating question. Private value versus public market frenzy.
And maybe more personally, what level of persistence, 4 years of calendar reminders, manual phone calls, late-night bidding wars, what level of that would you actually commit to securing your perfect digital identity? It really makes you think about value and effort, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.